Christy, I am going to start with you. I have taken off the glasses. I am talking to a lawyer. Look, what is happening here? People need to understand. I would love for you to frame this. Paul Weiss, Covington and Burling, Wilmer Hale, Skadden Arps, these are huge, big-time firms that have all of the resources to push back, but in so many cases, they're not doing it, and they're capitulating really before the mandate is actually ordered. What's happening here?
So it's not a question about whether these executive orders targeting the law firms are constitutional or not. They are plainly unconstitutional. 3 judges have now looked at it. 3 judges have all said no go. Totally unconstitutional. Violates the First Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, and the Sixth Amendment. Bad. It's also not about whether or not these would hurt the law firms financially. It's clear that they would. Paul Weiss says if we're persona non grata with the administration, if this executive order was to go through, we as a firm would not survive. Well, all 3 of the firms that actually challenged the executive orders in court also said we would suffer irreparable damage here. Perkins Coie, we wouldn't survive. So it's not about that. So what is separating the firms that are fighting from the firms that are surrendering? Cowardice. I mean, they think they can just throw money at the problem. Paul Weiss is going to throw $40 million in pro bono. Skadden says, oh, we'll up it to $100 million.
Right.
And who's calling them a coward? Donald Trump. He said they're bending the knee and they're thanking me. They're saying, thank you, sir. And where can I sign? He is baiting them. And what I can't get over is just the arrogance of it on the firms that are not fighting. You've got Paul Weiss chairman Brad Karp, who sends a letter to his firm and says, look, we are still courageously standing up for fundamental rights and liberties, for the fairness of our justice system, and for society's most vulnerable individuals. That's what he said in the letter.
Cool story. Very cool story.
Totally not true, because Donald Trump is trampling all over those fundamental rights and liberties. He is attacking the fairness in the justice system. He is attacking society's most vulnerable people. And when you won't fight for them, it's clear that you won't, because when you say we can't be persona non grata with the administration or we won't survive, it's clear you're not going to take up those causes. It's clear that you're only going to align yourself with the causes that Donald Trump cares about. And that is so wrong. And I think if you want to say that, hey, it wasn't just about greed, we're not just cowards, we're doing the right thing, we're not compromising our values. Well, if you really cared about serving the public and you really cared about pro bono work, how about not becoming a dictator's puppet? How about starting there? Defend yourselves. And I just have to say, for corporate America and for other lawyers, whether you're a law student or you're an attorney or a partner, you have a choice. You can either stand with the firms that are cowards here, or you can stand with the firms that are actually putting our country first. And, I would just say be brave. Do the right thing here. The choice should be obvious.
In full disclosure, I am a former Skadden employee, and I never thought that I would see this day. But speaking in terms of serving the public, Dave, let's talk. Donald Trump talked about him being the retribution for his constituency, for his voter base. But it seems like his number one concern is going after these law firms. That is pretty much his own personal path of revenge. How does this help politically among his voters?
Among his voters, this is very specific to his problems. For a lot of those voters, I talked to them when I'm on the trail. I was in Wisconsin last week. Those problems were pretty much solved in the election. Democrats were humiliated. They're out of power for 4 years. He spent a lot of time dealing with these cases. It was 3 hours with Paul Weiss's chair in the Oval Office. Some about golf, some about this. Those are 3 hours not spent on any of the issues facing the country. So you've seen less than full support from Republicans for what he's doing. Republicans will rush out to defend Donald Trump on almost any decision he makes. The criticism that he saw in the first term has basically been disappeared because Republicans have been disappeared. They've been replaced by MAGA candidates. They have not rushed to defend what he is doing here. They have not wanted to take ownership of him taking revenge on these law firms because they look at the cases, they look at what happened to Fani Willis, they look at how he's been able to obviate the charges against him by winning the presidency, they look at the victory at the Supreme Court. This has been seen as overkill. And you don't see Republicans coming out and denouncing what he's doing, but the silence is pretty notable. I've not seen the Republicans who take this seriously, take precedent seriously, take the law seriously, say, thank you, Mr. President, for getting revenge on firms that employed some of your enemies.
So, John, given everything that Dave has just said, is it possible that this is a strategic move by the president because he knows he has Congress essentially in his back pocket, and even if he didn't, there's not much that they can do because of the gridlock there numbers-wise. And so the judiciary and the court seems like it might be the biggest roadblock to his agenda moving forward. Is this sort of hyper-focus on these law firms a sort of small admission of the fact that he knows that's where he's likely to face the biggest sense of resistance?
Yeah, I think there are a few things going on here, Charles. First of all, my friend Dave is absolutely right about Republicans not rushing to defend these actions or come out and support these actions, and at the same time passively letting them go through. I think also you make a great point in terms of who might block Donald Trump. Well, certainly lawsuits might and have blocked Donald Trump so far. They've been the biggest impediment to him. But I think there's another important thing going on here, too, which is a huge chilling effect. Even if these executive orders are not allowed to go through, what he's already gotten is agreements from two of these firms to basically vacate the orders in exchange for money, $140 million of free legal services. And then beyond that, you're going to see with the firms that continue to exist, businesses have been told, clients have been told, this administration will look disfavorably on you if you hire these law firms. So even if the executive orders fall, that chilling effect will continue to take place with their clients. It is a very unpredictable outcome in America that you would see the federal government basically just taking out large parts of an industry or attempting to take out large parts of an industry, not allowing people to do business, not allowing people to practice law, and in many cases practice law defending clients who may have issues with the federal government.